Hey guys, we are on live again, back on live. So today, as usual, we got our trade engineer with us to help us dissect and share with us his wisdom on how do we actually do short-term trading. Yay!
Yay! Hello
Hello.
everyone. This is the trade engineer once again. Nice to meet all of you once again, on our Sundays sharing.
Right. So before we start proper, wow, I really need to apologize to all the audiences out there. I was absent for last week, because I was away for a course. So to bring back good, better contents for all of you guys. So please pardon me there. I'll make up to you guys soon. All right. So what do we have today? Huh?
Yep. What do you think we have for you today?
So interestingly, right? Last week has been a very, how would I put it across, a very dangerous, a
Eventful?
little bit dangerous, eventful week. Yeah. With all the the Ukraine, Russia war, and then we see whether is there going to be an impending World War III and stuff like that. Who knows, man? Things just happen. So I don't know. Hey guys, for those of you who are online, do you want to actually type on the chat below to actually comment on what do you think? Is the stock market going to go upwards, or is the stock market going to go downwards? Come, comment in the chat below.
Yep. Leave it in your comment box below. Yeah. Yeah. Let us know what you
Yeah,
think.
and right, and for you guys who are there, if you guys can hear us perfectly well, please like the video and type and please like the video so that we know that you are there with us and we can be heard loud and clear. Hey, but Tri Engineer, what do you think of the whole situation?
Oh, I think it's a perfect time for trading actually. Because for traders we like volatility.
Right.
So prices moving so rapidly is actually a very good time for trading. But of course, if you get it on the right direction, you're probably hot very very well lah. But if not, yeah, you probably trigger a cut loss lah. So you do trade with caution, especially during this time, right? With all these sudden news coming out. Yeah. So on the whole, I think it could be an opportunity, right? Especially if you are also doing investing, because valuations have been sky high for quite some time now, and this
Right.
was just a nice trigger, to bring prices down. And for all it might be the only opportunity to get some of these stocks at a discount. Yeah, but yeah, now it's still very volatile, so we still have to do our due diligence and be very mindful of all these sudden news that might be occurring in the market.
Right. So why don't you tell our audiences how much do you make from trading already last week?
Okay. Wow, that one okay lah. Make a bit, lost a bit, but overall still a net gain. I think about maybe a 3-digit sum. So not too bad, not too bad.
Awesome. So for the audiences out there, for you guys are very new to trading, very new to investment. So one thing you must remember is do not play on psychology, right? Always know your strategy, how you are actually going into the stock and when to exit. Never ever put your emotion into play and use your emotion to guide your strategy, right?
Yep, precisely. I think once you let emotions guide you, it's akin to gambling, right? It's no different from gambling. Yeah, so you don't want to turn to that because you might just end up losing more than winning.
Exactly. Having the right strategy that works well for you is actually your conviction to your success. So everyone out there, we will actually be going through with you guys on our personalized strategy on how we do our own respective trading and investment. So please don't take our words for real. It's our purpose of having this video is actually to give you this additional exposure into trading, into investment, and also to share with you guys our views on the various stocks. All right. So if you guys have any stocks that you would like us to share with you guys or dissect for you guys to actually consider, please comment in the chat below so that we can actually take note of it and present it to you guys next week. All right. for those of you guys who just joined, please like this video so that we actually know that you can hear us loud and clear.
Yep, do
Okay?
give this video a like if you're here with us.
Yeah. Okay, so without further ado, right, maybe let me go into the microeconomy first, the investment portion, then maybe trade engineer can look at the trading part.
All right, let's go for it.
Okay, let me just share my screen. Uh, all right. So very simply, the stock that I wanted to share with you guys today, right, is this particular stock called Illumina. Okay, Illumina is a very interesting stock. I mean, like, look at the price, $329 49 cents. I was like, wow, what are the odds that we see a healthcare, pharmaceutical stocks at this kind of pricing, whereas typically it's more of the growth stock which actually have this big amount of the stock price itself. On Friday, regardless of the Russia Ukraine war, right, this stock is so exciting. It had a 1.72% gain, which translates to a $5.58 increment. Wow, not bad. But what is exactly happening in the microeconomy that is actually, causing a lot of fluctuations? Let's see, yeah. Um, Very simply, we are putting this four different um pictures over here. Omicron, I really want you guys to know that although Omicron is still here, that's actually affecting us in a global sense, but it is possibly like more like a Singaporeans or rather Singapore that is, or maybe a certain part of Asia as well that is more particular in controlling the number of patients, ensuring that the hospitals are not overwhelmed, ensuring that that measures are still in place and stuff like that. In fact, many of the other areas, especially in the West, they are not that concerned about Omicron itself because they recognize the fact that Omicron has been something of an endemic phase rather than pandemic. I mean, come on, guys, we all need to move on, right? Rather than staying in our present moment and suck down and wondering when economy is going to open up. So in fact, in many countries, the economy has already opened up already. So looking past Omicron, what do we have? Interest rate hike. The interest rate hike, just pay more attention to the period between 15 and 16 March, where the Fed is actually going to actually, announced their exact plan of interest rates. How much are they going to implement for moving ahead for 2022? And yes, there are certain analysis who says that it's going to be much more than the analysis prediction. Some says there will be a moderately gradual increment, but this is something that we do not know, and things that we do not know actually increases the uncertainty in the market. Okay, so please do take a lot of cautions there. Apart from that, what do we have? Russian Ukraine war that is currently ongoing. Um, this is something that is really very historical, and I don't really want to go to the history of it. But nevertheless, right? Let's see. Let's say if Russia itself are really that crazy to actually, apart from invading Ukraine, they decides to actually touch on any of the NATO countries, then highly likely, or rather most likely, a World War III will actually implode. If otherwise, I think investors currently right now are quite how do I put it across, are quite confident, or rather have the assurance that that will not happen. Hence, in the past 2 days, although the Russia-Ukraine war is actually ongoing, the market is going upwards. Mm, okay, okay. Yeah, so I mean, regardless of a war or whatsoever, volatility is still there. You want to take a lot of notice and take it into consideration of your own strategy when you actually decide to invest or trade. It doesn't matter. But one thing apart from the war that I want you guys to actually know is this thing called supply chain deficit. And this thing has been ongoing for the longest time already, regardless of COVID, regardless of the war, but it has been ongoing. And And this deficit, right, is only going to worsen because of Omicron, when there's actually a very quick and fast shift into the way technology evolves, and the people being more environmental friendly and stuff like that. And now we come to the war. War actually requires a lot of minerals, requires a lot of materials and stuff like that, and hence we can only expect supply chain to be even more in deficit. Yeah. Otherwise, we look at the indicators, right? Ah, my God, this is a very simplified, complicated chart. I'll put it across. I put this S&P 1 year trend. Okay, just a 1 year trend. You can see, right, for since the start of 2000, or rather end of December onwards, right, S&P is on a steep downward trend. Okay, and only last 2 days that is positive. But is the last 2 day of market rebound something that is justifiable? I don't know actually. I'm not very convinced that it's actually a very solid rebound, but rather it might be a trap to actually trap people into further losses. So my personal take is that, look at the simple moving average, purple line and blue line, very simplified. Purple line is 50, blue line 150. You see that the purple line and the blue line is getting more and more narrow, which means to say medium term trend wise is actually still positive, but it might turn negative if the situation, I mean, if the market continues to be downward trend. But if we zoom into the short term measure, right, S&P is already in a deep negative, yeah. So for all of you guys that actually want to look at investment, I would highly encourage you guys to move with momentum. Why? Because to move with momentum, right, what goes higher can go higher, what goes lower can go lower. Do you guys want to ride the wave to go higher, or do you guys have enough capital to dollar cost average every single week, every single month, whenever you see there's a dip, and then you just keep going in and to no end? So what if it takes 1 year to rebound? What if it takes 2 years to rebound? Are you guys okay to hold on to that longer period of rate the rate indicator, the losses in the paper losses in your portfolio? That is something for you guys to think. Okay, what is your strategy in entering any investment portfolio? All right. Otherwise, today I'm going to talk about ILMN, Illumina. What does this business do? It's a very huge chunk over there, of which I'm just going to summarize, okay? So, Illumina actually provides sequencing and array-based solutions for genetic and genomic analysis. It does research and clinical settings for applications for all those, for life sciences, oncology, or the healthcare stuff, agriculture and stuff. Um, it's very exciting. Why? Because with COVID, right? Then you see more people doing mRNA vaccination. The vaccines are even mRNA, and then now we're going to a war. You can look at people, doing all the different genetic sequencing, and with technology improvement, people wants to modify their kids and stuff like that. So looking far ahead, right? Is there a prospect? Is there a growth prospect for Illumina? I would actually feel that yes, there's actually a huge growth prospect for Illumina itself. But nevertheless, don't forget, when it comes to any pharmaceutical company, do consider the fact that pharmaceutical company works on funding, alright? So if they have a good history of breakthrough, you see that there are more investors pumping into the market itself. When the company actually managed to produce a positive, result, and then you see the stock market flies up, or people will just sell the news, that kind of thing, and you see and then people will collect the profits. And so when it comes to healthcare stocks, pharmaceutical stocks, please bear in mind that there might be higher fluctuations. All right. Okay, so how is Illumina's financial doing? Actually, Illumina Financial is actually doing not bad, quite well. Year-on-year revenue, year-on-year income has been increasing. Net profit margin itself is actually on a 16.82%, which is good. Current ratio is healthy. Debt to equity ratio less than 1, which is good. Book price to book ratio 4.8, relatively expensive. In terms of cash flow wise, I'm pretty amazed on how Illumina actually has this year-on-year increment in cash flow. But just one thing that I hope that you guys can take note is in 2021 itself, Illumina did not perform well. In fact, you see from the from for the whole of 2001, 2021, the stock is actually on a very regular and steep decline. All right. So is it a good time to enter this particular stock itself? Let us actually consider this valuation. We know that Illumina is currently overvalued 300 plus, whereas the intrinsic value is $213. Do you want to invest in an overvalued company? Well, I guess for value investors out there, value investors always say, nah, I don't want to invest in companies that is overly valued and stuff like that. You want to get a bargain price for good companies, but please do not forget that very important in this time and age, right? How often do we actually see a good company that is actually undervalued? Yes, if you're talking about growth stocks right now, the very fast and furious technology stocks, of course, a lot of them are undervalued. But what about in healthcare? Is it possible to actually get a undervalued healthcare stock? Right. I do not know, but maybe you guys who are very experienced, maybe you can type in the chat below to see whether it is actually very possible, right? But otherwise, if you ask me, I will actually enter based on technical analysis to see whether it's actually a good time for entry. Similarly, I only use two line, SMA 50, SMA 150. Having the blue line above purple line, right, just means that this particular stock in the medium trend is actually negative lah. I mean they are in the loss. It's actually currently in the bear market. So, what I want before looking at the fundamental, I actually want to enter this particular stock at this particular point in time. My quick answer is actually no, right? Because I want to ride on the momentum. High go higher, low go lower. I want it to actually have a rebound in trend before I decide to go in this particular stock, right? Okay, right. But nonetheless, I want to bring your attention to this particular point. Illumina itself, right, actually has this very strong support resistance line at 362, 3, 4 thereabout. You can see the dotted line that I actually put inside the chart, right? So this is actually a longer looking, it's a longer time period chart that I actually put out. I see that for back in 2018, they reached a high about 362 ish thereabout, and then has been consistently the high, and the breakthrough only arises in 2021. Okay, it goes all the way high, you see a double peak, and then it goes all the way down. So once it actually breaks through this particular resistance, this dotted line from a resistance point actually transformed into a support line. And then you see it has been supported very well for the last 1 year until recently it breaks down the support line. And how low we are going to go, I do not know. We need more indicators to actually see how low is low. But first and foremost, we want to make sure that the blue line in the medium term trend, at least the purple line is above the blue line. This is a longer chart, so please pardon the differences. But nevertheless, if you look at the 1 year trend, the blue line is still above the purple line, which means it's a medium term bear market, right? So for you guys out there, please know your own strategy in looking whether this stock is a stock worth your time in investment. Yeah, very important. So I guess this comes to my end of my sharing. If you guys have any questions, please type below so that I can actually answer your questions when it comes to investing methodology. So, if you guys are more interested to play on the trading methodology, since currently right now the market is so volatile, it's actually a very good time to do short term trades if you guys are high risk takers or higher risk takers as compared to the investment pot mindset. So I will leave the rest of the time to our dear trade engineer to actually elaborate his take on the short term play for Illumina.
All right. Thanks, Financial Missy. Thanks for dissecting Illumina from the fundamental as well as some part of a technical point of view. Yep. So now I would talk more on the trading aspects for Illumina. Before that, let me first share my screen. All right. Yes. Okay. So I have my slides up, and yeah, as what Financial Missy has shown earlier in the price chart, right? You can see that Illumina, the ticker symbol ILMN, has actually dropped. So I actually calculated the percentage drop, and it's close to a 37% drop since its high, in August 2021, right? So when the stock drop, you might be enticed to enter, right? Because you couldn't buy it when it was high. So now that it's low, you might think it's a discount, right? So the question here is whether you should be entering, or you should actually wait, because as what Financial Missy mentioned, low can get lower, right? So you don't want to enter on a falling knife. Yep. So let me dissect this from a trading perspective. But before we do, if you are here live with me, yeah, just to get everyone acknowledgement, yeah, please give this video a like, so we all know that you are here live with us, right? So before I dissect, Illumina, let's quickly do a brief run through of our previous stock called Nvidia, right? So if you haven't caught the video that Financial Missy and I shared last week, yep, do check it out in the description box. I actually included in my my post when I sent it out. But I will include it in this comment after the video ends. Yep. So just a quick recap, right? This was the price chart I showed last week for Nvidia, right? So we have several lines over here together with the RSI as well as the MACD, right? So at that point, right, I was mentioning about this area of confluence, right? So we look back at the chart; it was exactly around here. We are touching, right, both the uptrend line as well as the support line, right? And at the time, the price was also trading below the downtrend line, right? The MACD was also on the positive side, right? So what I suggested then, right, for trading is to adopt a wait and see approach first, right, to see whether this support of this area of confluence, right, is well supported, right. So if it's well supported, we can consider scalp trading because of the whole market volatility, and plus it's also actually trading below the downtrend line. So if you actually want to trade this stock, it's only short term in nature, right? Yeah, so that was the point I made. And if the downtrend line actually was broken, you can consider add positions. Yeah, but on the other hand, right, if that area of confluence fails to act as sufficient support, right, we should actually wait for the next support level. So what happened? What happened after that? What happened in the week ever since? Yep. So as what we mentioned, it was a very eventful week. So let's see what happened, right? So this is the updated chart of Nvidia, right, with the the latest trading days added. Yep. So you can see, right, a few things, right. It actually broke. This was the first day actually. That small green candle over here, right, it's actually the first trading day on Tuesday when the market opened last week. Yep. So actually last week there was 4 trading days only, so you only see 4 candles over here. So you can see the first day, right, it's actually already open with a slight gap down. Yep, it's actually not very clear, but if you zoom in and see, you can actually see that it's actually open with a slight gap down at about $230 US, right? So this actually broke, below that uptrend trend line that was drawn, right? And it actually opened at this first support level, this first horizontal line, right? So with that development, right, we actually conclude that it was not convincingly supported, right? So let's so of course we wouldn't have entered on the first trading day, even though it was a green candle. Yep. So you can see what happened on second trading days, second and third trading days, they actually broke this first support level. So the first trading days we offered signs that it was going to go down further, and it indeed went down. Yep. So it actually broke the first support level and tried to find the next support level, right, which was at this level, which also corresponds to the previous low, just about two weeks ago. Yeah, this at this point over here, right? So it actually almost touched the same point. Yep. And once it hit that point, it actually rebounded, right? You see, it was a strong rebound. That third trading day was a very big green candle. Yeah. So it showed that this second support was actually quite a strong support level. Right, so what should we look out for in future with all these developments, right? So first of all, the question now here would be, whether it remains supported by the second support line, since it actually bounced very strongly, right, on the third trading day last week. Right, so and we also see some signs that it might be bottoming out, right? So if you look at the RSI over here, right, this chart over here, the RSI, right, we can actually see, right, at the same price, right, around the same price here, the RSI is actually making a higher low, right? So this is actually an indication of a bullish divergence, right? Yep, and another thing that we have to watch out for is this downtrend line, right? As what I mentioned last week, right? Whether this price can actually cross the downtrend line convincingly, or will it actually form the point of resistance, right? It actually has been resisted, 3 times before, actually more than 3 times. So it might be a strong level of resistance, right? Only when crossed above the resistance can it actually, reach higher prices. Yep, and if you look at the MACD, right? MACD actually just crossed the negative region, right? So we also have to watch this to see whether there would be a crossover to the positive region, right? Because you want it to cross over positive region for the price to make newer highs and for there to be more upside to this stock, right? So these are some of the things that you might have to watch out, for Nvidia in the coming days if you're still interested, to long this stock in the future. Yep, so that's just a quick recap on Nvidia, right? So if you're still with us here and you like our sharing so far, don't forget to click that like button, right? Or click that share button to share with other people whom you think would benefit from sharing. As well, leave a comment below on what you think so far of our sharing, right? And now, without further ado, let's move on to today's stock pick, right? So today's stock pick is on Illumina, right? So here's the overall price chart, right, for Illumina. Right, so you have seen this earlier from FINANCIALmissy's slide, right? So I'll just quickly go through the details of the 37% drop in price, right? So on the it all started on 16 August 2021. It was trading at about $526, right? The high of $526, and now on 25th of February, last trading day on Friday, is only trading at only $329.50, right? So this actually, we'll do the math, it's only it's a 37% drop, quite a fantastic drop, right? Over just a year. But the big question here is, why? Why did it occur, right? After all, this stock did rise very phenomenally, right, in the past. So why did it drop all of a sudden? Right, so if I go back and dig back to the news, when it first happened, and that was in August 2021. Yep, so this is an article from Fu.com, right, on why this stock actually dropped at the time only 10%. Right, so this stock is what FINANCIALmissy's mentioned, it's a genetic testing company, and right, there was this news of actually it defying its regulators. Right, so what happened, right? So we look down the details, right? So this company, Illumina, right, actually at that time it just announced that it has completed this acquisition of a cancer testing company called Greer, right? But the problem here, right, is that this company, right, that they have acquired, it hasn't been passed by the regulators, right? So there's concern by the EU and other regulators, right, that this transaction might not be approved, right? In fact, they are concerned that this will be a monopoly, right? So so without the approval, right, it actually cannot go through. But Illumina, just announce it, and then basically they just try to move forward it without getting the necessary approval. So that might lead to consequences, and that's why that this whole negative outlook came in. Right, so as what you detailed in the article after that, right? This company was undeterred, right? And all this EU or the Federal Trade Commission, right? They're all still reviewing, right? So they haven't passed this acquisition, right? And here they did mention that there's no precedent, right? Where the company is going through a regulatory review and they just decide to go ahead to buy another company, right? So this is something new, and usually they will get the necessary approval first before they actually buy another company, right? So there was this guy who was even harsher in the judgment, right? So he's basically saying that even if this acquisition is approved, right, they're saying that actually they're paying a very high price for the acquisition, right? So this acquisition may not be very good after all, even if it's approved. So this might actually dilute shareholders, and shareholders like you and me who are invested, who are going to invest in this share, might be diluted, right? That's on the good side, right? On the bad side, right, if they actually all these EC or FTC, right, these regulators actually didn't approve this acquisition, this company Illumina might actually face very heavy fines. Right. So what kind of fines are they looking at? Right. So in this case, right, it could be nearly 400 million, right, or 10% of the company's aggregate turnover. That's very substantial, right? So all this negative, outlook regarding this news basically caused this stock to actually drop since then, right? So this is basically the background behind this company. So if you're thinking of longing this stock or buying this stock for the future, do keep this in the back of mind, because this hasn't been concluded yet, right? This is still in the review process. So any outcome of this news might affect the price of this stock, right? So do keep this in mind if you're thinking of buying this stock, right? And keep abreast of the news regarding this. Right. So with that out of the way, right, we want to examine, right, what the future direction of Illumina, right? So of course we don't have a crystal ball, but we can look at technicals to give us some indication of what might happen in the future. Right. So let's go ahead and dissect the price chart. So let me swap screens. And yes, here we have our price chart of Illumina on the daily time frame, right? So over here, we have the price chart with a downtrend line, right? As well as the RSI indicator, as well as MACD indicator, right? So first thing first, right? We see that the price, right, is resisted by this downtrend line, right? And it hasn't crossed this downtrend line. So that is still, a bit bearish, which means it's still in a bear scenario. It is still seeing downside. It hasn't broken up to the upside yet. So that is something we do need to take note. Another thing we need to take note, right, is that this daily MACD is still on the negative side, right? It is narrowing, right, but it's still negative. So you do have to watch out to see whether there is going to be a crossover in the future, right? But on the positive side of things, on the bull side of things, right, what do we see? We actually see, right, there's some slight indications of this stock bottoming out. So where can we see that, right? One of the things here we can see, right, the price is actually forming a lower low, right? But on the RSI side, we actually see that it's forming a slightly higher high on the daily time frame, right? So if we deep down, here the RSI is at 31, but here the RSI is near the 40, right? So there is some slight bullish divergence on the daily time scale, and if we actually zoom in into the hourly time scale, right, to get more insight into this stock, right, you can see that this bullish divergence is actually looks a bit more stronger, right? So you can see if you just delve into this RSI, you can see that it's making a higher low recently, right? 3 higher lows, right? But at the same time, right, it's also making 3 lower lows for the price, right? So this kind of indicates that there might be some reversal that might be going to happen very soon, right? And also on the other side, on the other hand, right, let me bring attention to the MACD on the hourly time scale, and it's also on the positive side, right? So this indicates that price might be bottoming out. So we do have to watch out to see whether there is a possibility or opportunity to long this stock in the future. Yeah, but of course this downtrend line is still the strong resistance level, and we have to see that it actually breaks above this downtrend line before we can actually turn long, right? Yeah, but another thing we see here is also, price is also making a higher high, right, recently on the hourly time scale. So that's another indication, right, that on the shorter term time scale, we might be seeing prices bottoming out for Illumina, right? So now let's move on to back to my slides. Right, so in summary, let me just conclude what I've just mentioned earlier. Right, so on the bullish side, right, we see some bullish divergence, right, both on the daily and hourly time scale. Right, on the hourly time scale for MACD, we actually see there is some positive, and likewise on the hourly time scale, right, we also see price forming a higher high very recently. Yeah, but on the other side, right, on the other side of things, on the bear side of things, it is still resisted by that downtrend line, right? So we still need to see whether it can actually cross this downtrend line or not. The daily MACD is also still negative, and with the whole Russia and Ukraine news, as well as interest rates, the whole market is actually very volatile now, right? So do trade with caution. Yep. So what should we do for trading, right? What I suggest here, right, is to adopt a wait and see approach first, right? Although there's some signs that it's bottoming out on a short-term time scale, but we do want that confirmation. So we get that confirmation if this stock price actually convincingly cross that downtrend line first, right? So if it convincingly cross that downtrend line, then we get the indication that it might be good to long this stock, to buy this stock, and that would be the final confirmation we need before we actually trade this stock. Right, but of course, do keep a lookout for all those news out in the market, be it the macroeconomic outlook or news surrounding this stock, or the news surrounding the US market, right? So all these do have an influence, right, on this stock, Illumina, right? Yeah, and as always, as what we always like to emphasize, right? Do your own due diligence, right? We have to be very mindful, and we don't want to lose more than what we actually earn, right? So, yep, it's very important to always do your homework. Right. So that's the end of my sharing for Illumina. And if you like our sharing, right, don't forget to click the like button and share this video, so that more people around you can benefit from our sharing. Yep, and as always, I think if you've seen our videos long enough, you know that we have our social media pages, right? So yeah, do follow us. I have my Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter page, and FINANCIALMissy has hers, right? Has Facebook page as well as Instagram, right? And do comment down below, right, on what you think, and as well as suggest the next stock for our next sharing next week, right? So we have these sessions every Sunday at 4 p.m. Yep. So next week, is be on my page. Right, and before I end off as well, there is this upcoming Facebook Live I have every Sunday as well with the crypto group on the Binance SG Investor Facebook group. Right, so I have it every Sunday as well at 9:30 p.m. Right, so today's topic is on be profitable even when you're half the time wrong. Right, so if you want to know how you can be profitable even when you're more than half the time wrong, right, do join me, right, later tonight at 9:30 p.m. Right, as I will delve into this. This is very useful, especially in this time of market volatility, right? Because you might be wrong, more than half the time, but you still want to be profitable, right? So how do you do it? Yeah, you can join me live, later at 9:30 p.m. And then, I will not just be covering this. I'll also be covering on some coins as well as Bitcoin in this weekly session as well. So if you're free, do join me later, like at 9:30 p.m. Right, and with that, we have come to the end of today's sharing. Right, FINANCIALMissy, do you have any other words to share with your audiences today?
Yes, I do actually. We got a question from our audiences. Kel, can I just show it in the screen so they can assist? I think you were sharing about the acquisition of the cancer company, right? So Kel was actually asking, but does it mean that Illumina doesn't have a strong management with such acquisition? And another side question, if there there's any way we can forecast a company's pre-earning.
All right. Okay. Yep. So I think for the first question, right, whether it's a strong management or not, no, we wouldn't know. Yep. It offers some signs that it might not have, but yep. What happens, in reality behind the scenes, we will not know for sure, right? So, we have to, be very mindful of that, and what we do see is only on the surface what they do report, in the news, but there are things that are not reported, so we do have to be mindful, and that there could be, some dubious background behind this stock, right? So we never know for sure, right? And for the companies pre-earning, I think that part maybe financial Missy you be better to answer that. But for my point of view, because my for mine is for trading, so we typically look at the price action, and we are less concerned about the earnings, right? So there are stocks that can rise even if they are um, yeah, they're not really earning that well. Yep. So it actually has to do with the hype. Some stocks are hype up very, 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 very well because of the whole news and expectations behind that stock, right? So typically, right, a stock rise, when it actually beat expectation, right? So it can be losing money, but it has that robust positive outlook, right? That that might actually cause people to actually buy this stock, or hype it up, so this stock actually can rise very phenomenally, right? So that is something you might want to consider, right? So some stocks might rise and fall, regardless of the earnings, right? It's actually based on the expectations and the hype, because the market is actually very forward looking. Yep. And financial Missy, you want to add on some of your comments?
Right, thank you for sharing. It has been really very insightful. Let me assist with forecasting the company's pre-earning. Okay, so this is a very interesting question that I often ask myself as well, because I used to trade on earning costs on options trading. So um is there a way to forecast the company's pre-earning? My very quick and easy answer to you is no. If it's so easy to forecast pre-earning wise, then I guess I will just continue to play with the hype and do and do earning trading already. Most importantly, what I want to share with you guys is that with regards to earning, right, it's really about you need to know what is the analysis expectations, and using that as a gauge to actually um see whether in comparison to analyst expectations, is the company actually um earning as what, or doing as well as what analysis expects. But most importantly, right, is that if you guys actually play earning cost before, you do realize that sometimes when the earning report is out, and then it beats the analysis expectations, but the stock went up. Okay, beats analysis expectations, stock went up. Okay, can, no problem. But sometimes, or rather, quite often in 2020, 2021, it beats analysis expectations and the stock goes down. So, what is the point of forecasting a company's pre-earning? What we want here is actually to have the conviction of why are you entering the stock, and how certain that you are able to actually make money off the stock, rather than gamble to see whether it beat forecast expectations or not, and whether the stock corresponds to whether it's going to go up or not. Yeah, so I would really want to actually, I would really do personally, I do consider that as more of a gambling. You can use that as a small part of your portfolio, the more of a good 1% or 2% of your portfolio, to actually do a bit of gamble, a bit of adrenaline. But whether there's a way to forecast companies pre-earning, my very quick answer is no. All right. And then with regards to the first question regarding the strong management with such appreciation, right? Um, okay, we do, because for us we are actually outsiders. We don't really know how is the management actually managing the company, and how what's the take of the management in collaborating with other companies. But what we actually know, right, is that Illumina actually partner up with this company called Agenda. Agenda is actually the company that what the trade engineer actually suggested that produces the cancer genomic testing kind of thing. But if you look at Agenda itself, right, it's actually a world leader in precision oncology for breast cancer. So when it comes to healthcare, coming from a healthcare point of view, comes to healthcare, when you talk about the different genomes, right, it is not that clearly about the management, being able to have the foresight to actually see whether this company is able to produce the results that they want, whether the company is able to, has gone through this and that regulation and stuff. It is not that simple because in healthcare itself, right, although yes, I know that the other companies actually having this forecast, this ability to actually, grow on the technology. But then the question here is, I can grow my technology, yes. I need to patent it. Then apart from patenting it, the healthcare regulations, there's so many 101 questions to ask. It can be one part of the regulator says okay, then few weeks, few months later, okay, then you say, oh, there's something else that you need to, to patent, there's something else that you need to look into that causes a lot of regulation issue. So when it comes to healthcare, pharmaceutical stocks especially, there's a lot of things to actually, to lay out, to tidy up and stuff. So I don't think it's really that straightforward in actually using one particular case to determine whether the management is a good management or not a bad management. If you want to look at Illumina itself, probably want to actually look at a longer duration instead of just one particular case study to determine lah. So it'd be good if you guys, if you're looking at actually investing in this particular company, to actually read up on the financial statement, on the prospect of this particular company, the management perspective of this company, on which direction they want to grow. Right. Hope I answer your question here. Alright, so yeah.
Yep.
Yep. So
Thanks,
what I
Kiao
think,
Pang.
yeah, thank you for asking such a wonderful question. Actually trigger us our thoughts processes as well. Yeah, but nevertheless, I can't emphasize more that what you guys are sharing today is actually something for your consideration. It's not a buy or sell advisor. So please do your own due diligence in knowing your own strategy. I can't stress more. Knowing your own strategy is the only way to help us multiply our wealth. Yeah. Don't get our emotions involved in the world of trading or investments. Yeah. So that's all I
Yep.
wanted to share.
Indeed,
All right.
yes, we cannot
So
stress that enough. It's very important. Yeah, I think we stress that almost every video, but I think it's a very critical point to make. Yeah, especially in this time. Yeah. So
yeah. So
yes.
please do comment below on which US stock if you like us to actually dissect and analyze. So US stock. So because we are all both quite active in the US stock market itself. So probably just US stock will be our forte. Not so much of Hong Kong, not so much of Singapore, but yeah, US stock. So please comment below, like and share this video. Comment below on which US stock you would like us to actually dissect and analyze for your better understanding.
Yep. Leave it in the comment below, and we shall dissect it for you next week.
Yeah, so to then, see you guys next week. Ciao.
Bye, guys. Adios.
Adios.